3. Go. Go.
I need the thumbs up, fool. Damn, that's what producers usually give you the thumbs up. This fool's like, go.
I said
go.
You should have had the countdown in your head.
No,
producer. Oh Lord, you go out to
the when it's time to go
for 1 week, one couple of days, and now she know everything.
I don't know everything, but I was like, yo, Caitlyn, can you put the thumbs up when we go live so I can just go so they don't hear your ass going go.
They wouldn't. That's why I stopped counting, and then you should have known. And you were looking down anyway. It wouldn't have made no difference.
I wasn't looking down. I was looking right.
You were. No, we got receipts. God. We got receipts.
All right. Welcome to League of Our Own. It's time for another episode. I'm back. We skipped last week because I had to prep for the Combine. But I'm back from the NFL Combine. And I'm going to give you guys all the details of everything that happened because it was a lot of fun. And it was a lot of work and just really rewarding at the same time. And of course, we got a lot of things to talk about. It's your sports chica, Carolina Teague, the intro, all that good stuff. You already know how it is, but we're talking about all things NFL draft. We're talking about all things San Antonio Spurs. They're on a 2-game winning streak, which is great for the San Antonio Spurs. And they now have 13 wins, so I'm excited about that. And we're going to talk about Caitlyn Clark breaking the record of the all-time NCAA basketball scorer, beating men and women, beating Pete Maravich's record. So it's going to be lots of fun. Let's get into it. First and foremost, Caitlyn, how have you been? You're preparing for a boxing fight, right?
Yes. So I don't know if a lot of people know what I do, but I do a little bit of everything. So I do web development, social media management. I do video production, of course, but I've been cutting my teeth with for the past 2 years and becoming pretty damn good at it. Mm-hmm. And so we got a boxing match that's coming up. Desi Martinez Promotions, that kicks off on March the 30th. Brand new promotion here in San Antonio. We're bringing back Puro San Antonio, Puro Fighting. We're dealing with world-class boxers. One of the boxers, Giovanni, is 19-1. Pretty impressive. We got a new dude coming up, Isaac Bamera, and he is 2-0 with 2 knockouts in his last 2 fights. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited about Shariah. Mm-hmm. She is 5'10", 135, and a badass. I had a chance to actually interview her a little bit the other day.
How is she?
And she is, on a scale of 1 to 10, she's an 11. Nice. She has everything that you need to be a superstar.
Nice.
And
she's going to be here in San Antonio March 30th?
Huh?
She's going to be in San Antonio March 30th?
She's going to be in San Antonio March 30th. And I don't want to reduce her to just being an attractive woman, but she is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And she's an athlete. And she's Puerto Rican. And she's native Indian. She is like amazing. Like what you want to sell a fight. What you want for a fighter to be, fearless, calm, she has it, all of it.
Nice. So she's going to be at Desi Martinez Promotions boxing event on March 30th, and tickets are on sale now. Where can they get that?
If they go to just eTix and type in Desi Martinez Promotions, or go to Boeing Center. Mm-hmm. And they can get it there. Nice.
Well, I might be there, right?
You more than likely, it's still the plan to have you there.
The plan is
to have me there,
It's just so many
moving parts.
Yeah,
there's so many moving parts for the first fight, and I really have to take a step back because, I mean, you know me.
Yeah.
But I see things so much different than everybody else. Mm-hmm. And I'm already seeing like, wait, we need this and we need that and we need this. And this should be planned. But listen, I'm staying in my lane. I'm doing the website. I'm getting ready for the live stream, which is going to be probably the most interactive stream that anybody has ever seen in a boxing match, especially at this level of a boxing match.
Right.
It's going to be crazy where you can pick who's going to win per round. You can buy merch. We'll do trivia questions and everything else like that. What's up, Amzai?
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. And just really quick, FYI, I want to go. I definitely want to support, even if I'm not going to be part of the production. I definitely want to go.
I'm pretty sure.
More than likely, I am going to be part there, guys, on the commentary team. But if things don't go, I'm still going to be showing up and supporting. This is Dwayne's thing. This is your thing. You know, you guys are my road dogs. So I definitely want to show up and show out for local boxing. Real quick, though, if you guys are listening on Twitter, if you guys are listening on Facebook, if you guys are listening on YouTube, thank you guys so much for listening. We're going to talk NFL Combine. We're talking the San Antonio Spurs and their 2-game winning streak, and we're talking Caitlyn Clark. But if you guys want your comments featured, please put your comments up on either Facebook or YouTube. Unfortunately, we can't put Twitter comments up. Hello, Christopher.
We actually can do Twitter comments.
Oh, we can do Twitter comments now.
Yeah, they have to like tweet or something else like that. So
okay,
it's I have to watch it. It's not as easy, but yeah,
it's not as easy. If you go straight to YouTube, it's going to be easy. But if not, then we'll do our best to get your comments up, and you guys can tweet at us too if you'd like. But NFL Combine was pretty incredible. First and foremost, I didn't get to go to the Super Bowl because I told you guys I wanted to go to the Combine instead. Because I never went to the Combine. I went to the Super Bowl, and that was a great experience. And I kind of figured that the Las Vegas Super Bowl Radio Row experience was going to be like one big cluster of so many people, and it was going to be hard for me to like weed through the grass. And I felt like it was going to be way more of a refined way of me trying to navigate this new thing that I'm trying to do, which is cover the NFL. And first and foremost, Q has been absolutely fantastic with putting me in a position to be able to be a social correspondent for.
So who's Q?
Q is the program director for KRLV in Las Vegas, and he oversees everything over there, which is ESPN Las Vegas, ESPN Deportes Las Vegas, 929 Raider Nation Radio, and I think the Golden Knights as well. So there's multiple sports stations over there, and Las Vegas sports is growing. And to, just having me there as under his wing as a mentee was, meant a lot to me. So I was grateful to go out there to Indianapolis, but I was doing things for League of Our Own. I wasn't doing things for the station. I did things for this podcast and this brand, which is League of Our Own, which is something that I've been trying to expand on, trying to work on. And it really paid off for the better because I made so many connections. I was able to see a lot of new things. It's really overwhelming when you cover the NFL for the first time, especially something like the Combine. But there were people there that were very, very nice to me. I met some of the nicest women in sports. I'm not their best friends or whatever, but they were very, very kind to me. Stacey Dales at the NFL Network is one of the girls that I could say was like my fairy godmother. And I was telling Christian that there's this lady who keeps walking up to me, and she walks away like my fairy godmother, because I was doing a stand-up and I was extremely nervous, and this lady is like to the side of me, and she's like, just act like you're talking to somebody at the bar and relax. And she was really kind about it. So I didn't. She was like, that was a great thing. Why don't you just post it? And that the stand-up that she told me to post went viral on TikTok. It had almost 50,000 views right now. So I was like, wow, she's actually really good. She kind of like helped me out and to calm my nerves just to get through that moment. And then every time I would ask a question to a player, because it's a big hustle there. There's 521 prospects for the NFL Combine. That's a lot of people that are getting or is it 321? I think it's 321. I might be tripping with the 521. But it's a lot of people. It's hundreds of people that are trying out for the Combine. And you have to interview all of these players throughout the week, and the GMs and the coaches. So we have to be there by 7 a.m. and you wake up and you're there, and there's all these hopefuls, these NFL prospects, there's all these NFL players, all these NFL coaches, all these NFL GMs, and they're all in this big room that's NFL themed. And they have you go to each podium for whichever player that you want to interview. So you got to go through the list of who you want to interview, and then you interview those players.
So how did you make the decision on who you wanted to
honestly,
interview?
It took a lot of planning for me to figure out who I wanted to interview. So I had the list of all the players, and I basically did my research, and I had my highlighter, and it was color coded. I felt like, okay, I want to cover the Bears. That's my personal favorite team. So I want to see what's going on with the Bears. I also wanted to see what was going on with the Raiders, because I know Q's in Las Vegas, and he may need a sound clip for some of the players that could be potential future players for the Las Vegas Raiders. So I definitely wanted to get my Raiders questions in. Then I'm in Texas, so I definitely wanted to make sure that I fed all the people who follow me Cowboys and Texans information as well. And then Chuck Mikatinik from Fox San Antonio reached out to me and told me that there were some San Antonio players that were going to be in the combine, and he wanted to see if I can get some clips for him so he could use that for Fox Maximum Sports. So I was definitely willing to lend a helping hand and do that for him as well. So Millard Bradford is from San Antonio, and he went to O'Connor High School, and he was there for the combine, and he was really excited to be there. It was awesome. And then another big player out of University of Texas, Jordan Whittington, he's from Cuero, which is south of San Antonio. So that was another interview that I made sure that I wanted to get. But in order to find out how I could interview these players, I was kind of going through a process where I navigated who were the top tight ends in the country, who were the top wide receivers in the country, who were the top quarterbacks in the country, who were the top, DBs, O-line. Like, I just kind of did a list, and then I kind of mapped it out at what time they were going on and kind of just navigated it that way. It was very complex, but it ended up working out in my favor because I got a lot of great interviews that I was trying to hear from. So I was really excited about that. I was disappointed, though, that Marvin Harrison Jr., Marvin Harrison Sr.'s son, he's a big legendary player for the Colts, he didn't show up to the podium to ever do an interview. I was really disappointed about that because I wanted to ask him about the Bears.
Did he run or anything?
No, he didn't. He didn't participate in the combine at all. But these players, and that's what I wanted to talk about, a lot of these players in the NFL combine, such as Caleb Williams, he's projected to be the number one pick with whichever team has the number one pick. We don't know if the Bears are going to trade down. We don't know if they're going to go up. There's a lot of rumors about what's going to happen with Caleb Williams. He's a quarterback out of USC, but he didn't participate in the combine, but he definitely participated in the interviews. And seeing the media surrounding Caleb Williams, because he's deemed as a quote-unquote generational talent, Caitlyn, when I tell you it was comparable to when I went to meet the rookies for Victor Wembanyama, and it had that much media in there, like at least it felt like 200 media was there just to see what Caleb Williams was going to say. It was insane.
So you were right there at the side, right?
Absolutely. I couldn't even ask.
How'd you get up there?
Because early bird gets the worm. Q made sure we were the first ones there every single day. So I was there by like 7:30 a.m., 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did they go up right on time?
Sometimes there was a little delay, but you had to wait. The busiest day was
of course.
The busiest day was quarterback and wide receiver day.
Of course.
And I was there standing for hours, no water, no food. I forgot to eat the day before dinner, so I was starving by the time.
You're not looking for sympathy, are you?
I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just saying, like, I didn't anticipate being so damn busy. Is what I'm saying. I did not. It's so intense.
See, that's when, you were talking about like the boxing thing that I'm coming up with. Mm-hmm. There is nothing in my head that you would not be busy as hell. Like, there is nothing in my mind that would ever imagine you not being busy. Now, part of that is me being a little bit older and have seen some things. And like, I've been deep in this for years, only doing my own thing for the past 3 years. But when something happens, I'm looking at what type of camera's going on. I'm not looking at the interview. I'm looking for like what's going on the side or whatnot.
Right.
And so I knew it. Yeah. Of Caleb, number one. Come on.
Yeah. It was wild. It was actually like, you're right. I should have anticipated that it would have been busy.
No, you shouldn't have. It was just, it is what it is.
Exactly.
It's just funny.
Exactly. No, but it was actually really fun. And I got I met a lot of people that were very nice. And like I said, the one that was the nicest to me, I have to give her a shout out. Her name is Stacey Dales from the NFL Network. She was very, very sweet. Oh, like I said, it was so packed. Stacey Dales would always stand next to me, though. And she was asking the best questions to these football
And so Stacey, who's she again? I'm sorry, one more time.
Stacey Dales.
Okay.
She was literally asking the best questions out of every reporter.
No, I know, but who is she? Where is she from?
Okay, she is a reporter for the NFL Network, and she is also on 670 The Score Chicago.
Okay, so she's in Chicago then.
I don't know if she's based out of Chicago, but I know she does
She
work
covers
for them.
the Bears.
She covers, she's not a Bears reporter, but she does talk about them, right?
Okay.
But she is incredible. Like when you watch her on camera, and if you meet her in real life, she's just amazing. I was just so impressed how kind she was to me, because she didn't have to be kind to me. And so every time she'd ask a question, I would be like, that was a great question. And she was like, you can ask great questions too. All you have to do is find your voice. And then she would walk away, and I'd never see her again. I was going to tell her, thank her for all the help she gave me. And then like there was another time where she asked a question, or I'd ask a question, and she'd be like, that was a great question. So I was like, and then I'd look for her, and she was gone.
Because she wasn't real.
Exactly. She was like a fairy godmother. I was like, where did Stacey go?
Yeah, she was a radio fairy godmother. Yeah. She's not real. You can look her up, and she probably died like 20 years ago.
She's all a ghost. No. But you know what was crazy too is that all these men were in the room in media, and they would say, you know, for example, I'm just going to like throw someone's name out there. Let's just say Xavier Worthy from UT. Xavier, you like to run the ball a lot and you know, whatever, usually do slant routes or whatever the hell, right? And how come you don't do it this way? Or what made you do those type of routes? Or why is your playing style like that? Or how do you think that playing style...
What's up, Tim?
How do you think that playing style applies to the NFL if you get to the NFL? And then Stacey, you could tell she was like, I don't know if you could tell she was bothered, but her questions would be like, Xavier, I know everybody here in the crowd is telling you how you play. Can you tell us how you feel like you play? Can you describe how you play? Everybody's trying to tell you how you play, but you tell us how you play.
Right. Because
and they would be like, thank you for the question.
Right. Because it's a field. We spend so much, men in particular, spend so much time because we think we've played the sport and we've done that, but we haven't, right? Most of these dudes haven't played past high school. Maybe they played in college a little bit, and now they're a journalist. And they forget the feeling around, the emotion around the sport. And as you know, that's why I spend so much time humanizing these players, because it's not just like I don't fantasize about being a particular player, right? I appreciate them for who they are and realize like never had a chance, won't ever have a chance. And so how do I support them and make them the best that they are? Right.
And also, and that's the thing, she was humanizing the players, and that's kind of what I was trying to do too. And there was other reporters that were doing that as well. So there were some great reporters, and then there were some reporters that were like making all the other reporters mad. Like some guy kept asking like, do you have an OnlyFans? If you were an animal, what you would want to be? People would like groan and moan because they were saying they were making a mockery of journalism.
Well, you know those weren't real reporters.
Yeah,
those are social media stars. Sometimes those are people pulling pranks.
Absolutely.
They got media credentials and stuff like that.
Yes, so. and the thing is, like, I think people like it's a fine line between like traditional journalism and then what's popping right now on TikTok. And I'm devil's advocate, and I'm just like, I get it. You guys think that it's a mockery of the craft, but the way media is going, that's what people like to see on social media. At the same time, I can see what they're coming from. You only have 15 minutes to get the most out of these players, and you're asking them these stupid questions. I'm okay with it, but there were people who were really bothered with it. And speaking of the combine, I got to go through like the winners and losers of the combine. Xavier Worthy broke a combine record, and he ran a 4.21, which was incredible. And he's from University of Texas. So University of Texas wide receivers had themselves a day. It was pretty great. Then you had Quinion Mitchell, the cornerback from Toledo, ran a 4.33, and he was the second fastest and the second strongest person in the combine for his particular position. My personal favorite people being up close and personal was Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. Like, that dude right there is incredible. He knows how to talk. He knows how to convey his message. He's well spoken. He's educated. Not to mention he's athletic as hell. And people were kind of criticizing how fast he ran his 40, but he did very, very good in the other skill tests as well. So, and he said, I might not be the most athletic person, but I do have fantastic leadership skills. The way that he spoke, I don't know if you guys saw my clip on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter, but his message on what it feels like to be at the combine was so inspiring. And I feel like Terrion Arnold is gonna get drafted. I feel like the Raiders should get Terrion Arnold if they, for some reason, don't get a quarterback. I want the Raiders to get Terrion Arnold because he just seems like a fantastic player.
What position does he play?
He's corner.
Okay.
He's a corner. And he's just amazing. And I feel like any team that Terrion Arnold's going to be on, he's going to add value to any team he's going to be on. So somebody get Terrion Arnold, please. And whoever is getting Terrion Arnold, they're going to be really, really lucky. That's my personal one of the winners.
Where is he supposed to go in the draft?
He's supposed to be a first rounder, but they don't know where he's going to fall. But they're predicting that he's going to be a first rounder. And another thing, too, the NFL Network was giving him full-blown segments. That's how personable he was. So he's definitely somebody that you want, to represent a team. So Terrion Arnold was a winner to me. Another winner for me was,
tell me about this before you do a winner. You were up close and personal with Caleb. You were about 4 to 6 feet away from him.
Right.
A lot of buzz out there that he's arrogant, that he's this, that he's that, because he didn't work out and he should have worked out like everybody else. And like he said, I have 30 plus games or 50, 30 or 50. I can't remember which one he said. Like, go watch my game tape, and I think that's legit, right? I don't think you need to be there. Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't perform either. So what was the energy did you get from Caleb?
The energy I got from Caleb was that he's a natural leader and he's prepared for whatever comes at him. And he doesn't know where he's going to fall into the draft or not. Well, he knows he's going to go number 1, but he doesn't know what team is going to have the number 1 pick. He doesn't know if the Bears are going to trade down, but he's prepared to be a Chicago Bear. But he did say he's prepared for other teams as well. So some people are like trying to read between those lines, and they're saying because he's prepared for other teams, then perhaps he doesn't want to be a Chicago Bear because the way Chicago Bears regurgitate quarterbacks might be something that's not attractive to somebody who's supposed to be a generational talent like Caleb Williams. But the vibe overall that I got from Caleb Williams is not that he's arrogant, it's that he's confident. I think he's confident and he's a leader. And there's a huge debate on whether these players should be in the NFL Combine or not. But for the NFL Combine is essentially a job interview. You got to pass your medicals. You got to do the interviews. You got to do the combine skills tests, all those things. And these GMs and coaches are watching you throughout the whole week to see who they want to pick up or not. But some people, you're just so damn good, you already got the job. And I think these players are starting to see the power in that, the power of not participating, because perhaps if they perform at the combine and they accidentally get injured or they don't perform up to par, it might deplete their draft stock in the NFL draft. So making that conscious decision because they've had spectacular, stellar performances while they were playing in college and opting to not conduct interviews or only conduct interviews to people who are interested in interviewing them as far as NFL teams are concerned and not necessarily to the press, is them essentially taking their power back. So that's how
you're
I
also
see
talking about players now that are multimillionaires before they even step in. right? So they don't have to jump, shuck, jive, run for these people because they do have tape on them and they already got the money.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I don't need you as much as you think I do. That's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way.
It did rub people the wrong way, especially Marvin Harrison Jr. not doing the interviews. Like that rubbed people the wrong way. But me personally, it doesn't rub me the wrong way, but I'm not an NFL coach or GM. Some people say it's like arrogance, but some people are saying. Yeah, but have
you seen some of the stuff that they've written about players over the years? Like, I could understand why a player's like, oh, I'm not doing this.
Right.
Yeah, they do slow, don't make good decisions, should be a running back or a receiver rather than a quarterback, all that type stuff. So
I mean, but the thing is, though, they have written bad things, but facing the media is part of the job. You're required to.
I guess
if you go to the NFL, you got to face the media.
Yeah,
and you're not going to like everything the media says, so that's why essentially they're trying to see how they don't filter these players, and that's part of the process. They don't filter what we can ask or what we can't ask because they're trying to see how they're going to handle everything that's thrown at them during the combine.
I think from a purist standpoint, from a journalist standpoint, for somebody that's looking at it from your standpoint of going there, which I respect, I don't disagree. But I think that because some journalists are not and do not and choose not to humanize players, I think players are like, screw you. And I think they should. Because I don't think you should be able to do and say anything to players and just be an asshole to them and expect for them to act a certain way. Right? Amzai says, with all due respect, cancel the NBA All-Star Game and NFL Combine.
I need to ask why. Why is that? Because it's boring?
I'll tell you one of them. I don't want to bring that up. Why? Okay. I could see canceling the Combine, but that's a very personal reason.
I just feel like, as far as, like, I see where you're coming from too. Like, yeah, of course, like, players don't want to face media where they're butt heads. And it's true. Some of the people there were asking really butthead questions. However, it's part of the job. And if you want to go to the NFL, I can see why they're doing that, because they want to see how you handle stuff like that. And yes, I agree with Walt. Players want to have fun interviews and not serious ones. Totally agree. But not everybody is like that. And I have to be fair when I say that, because that's how Walt rolls. I roll differently too, but some people are different. They don't have to give them exclusives, but they do have to face the media. And sometimes the media asks very, very tough questions. And the NFL is trying to assess if a player knows how to handle that. And that's what I'm assuming. That's why they do it there. That's what everybody told me. That's essentially why that's going on. Yeah. So,
I hear you.
And back to the winners. So, I think my personal favorite interviews and my personal people that I think were winners was everybody a part of the goddamn University of Texas at Austin. Every single player from UT at Austin that gave an interview was absolutely fantastic and personable and incredible and did a fantastic job. So I thought the University of Texas at Austin was the best team out there. Second was Georgia. Michigan had a lot of players out there too, but maybe I'm biased because I saw exactly how they were talking. They did a fantastic job, so I got to give kudos to Jordan Whittington, who did a great job, Adonai Mitchell, who did a great job, Xavier Worthy did a fantastic job too. Just so many players there at the University of Texas that knocked it out the park as far as their interviews are concerned, and they seem like they're a really tight-knit group. So, and they were all really happy for each other that they were all out there. Oh, and Christian Jones too, by the way. They all did great.
So before we move to Caitlyn Clark.
Oh, we're going to talk about Wemby. We got to talk about Wemby.
I know, but we'll do Caitlyn and we'll do Wemby.
Okay.
I thought it was Caitlyn next.
It don't matter. What were you saying?
Right. So where were you when the dude ran the 4.21?
I was on the plane going home.
Oh, you weren't even there for when the receivers and the quarterback?
Yeah, no, because quarterback and wide receiver day, interview day was Friday, and unfortunately they didn't do the combine drills until the next day. So I didn't see it happen live, but I did hear about it. I was really sad that I didn't get to see it live, but I did watch the drills, and it was fun.
Cool.
It was really cool. Overall, the experience was new. It was exciting. It was incredible. And I was mainly there to like talk to people, meet new people, and connect with new people, which I did. And I think that's what I wanted the most out of it. And I got what I wanted out of it. So I was really, really happy and just thankful for the experience. I felt really blessed to be there. And I felt like blessed to be there because it's not necessarily
it's not easy to get
in. Yeah, exactly.
It's not easy to
get in.
Oh,
and by the way, I told you I felt like I didn't see anybody who looked like me in the room.
Yeah.
At all. There was like 200 reporters there plus, and I.
Well, you're only 5'1". Could you even see all the people that were there?
Maybe not, but I didn't see any I didn't see anybody that looked like similar to me. So I think there needs to be more inclusivity.
Dark hair.
Short, dark hair,
eyelashes.
Mexicans, with
no Latinas. Y'all could have like thrown gritos to each other, like over here.
I know for sure. I know. So we were talking about it, like independent journalists there, that there needs to be more diversity and inclusivity there.
Bougie Latina.
Oh God, crazy Latinas.
I think it's going to happen, right? I mean, if you're in soccer, you'd be one of many.
Yeah.
Boxing, you'd be one of a few. Major League Baseball, you'd probably be a little bit more one of a few. But, NFL is... So, I'll bring it up off the air because I know Amazon wants me to say it.
I mean, a lot of people say that the NFL is a lot of mayonnaise. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, like, I took the mayonnaise and made an elote. Like, I don't know, it just ended up there.
You were the corn.
I was the corn of the cup.
You were the corn.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's up with Caitlyn Clark?
Caitlyn Clark broke a record. She broke the NCAA's highest scoring points ever in the history of NCAA basketball, beating Pete Maravich's record, which is absolutely freaking insane.
Now, there's somebody that actually scored more points in the realm of basketball, but they were not brought into the NCAA. So the records don't count for the NCAA. So there is one woman that scored like 200 or 400 more points than her, or 1,000. It was kind of crazy. So it was just interesting. I saw there's
somebody else out there. But and so that I think that's why they're so specific with how they're labeling her record. It's the NCAA's all-time scoring leader. So the lady doesn't count, but Caitlyn does. And she closed out her final season. People were criticizing her. They said she played an extra year to get that record. Who cares? Like, it's still like.
So wait, was it 5 years or 4 years?
I don't know. I didn't even give a shit, to be honest with you. I was
well,
just like, whatever. She
listen.
still broke the damn
If it's
record.
4 years. If it's 4 years, that's different than 5 years. That should be an asterisk.
Do you think it should be an asterisk?
Did Pete Maravich do it in 4 years or did he do it in 5 years?
I mean, I don't know. Do you think that because when NBA players beat the record, like LeBron beat, was it like MJ's scoring record? I can't remember. I think it was MJ's. Yeah. When he beat MJ's scoring
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, Kareem Abdul, but also MJ's too. But when he beat those scoring records, he was considered to be in the NBA league much longer. Does that take away his record? Does it put an asterisk by him? No. So why should it put an asterisk by Caitlyn Clark if she plays one extra year?
Because in college, you generally have 4 years unless you have an injury year. So if you play a fifth year, okay, so you say that Walt Chisholm said they only played 4. So if she played 4 years and she got the record, then great. Right.
So my thing is, like, even if she did play, let's say she wanted to play 5, right? If she wanted to play 5, to take away from everybody can score that many damn points. And like I said, if LeBron outplayed Joy a couple of years and him, why is that not being taken away from LeBron?
Well, because it's completely different. It's the longevity of a career in the NBA. If you can play at a high level in the NBA, then you're playing at a high level in the NBA. So that's not the same as playing an extra year in college. Most college athletes play 4 years. If you play a 5th year and you get a record, it's still a record, but you did it in 5 years. You didn't do it in 4 years.
Well, she did it in 4. So
Right,
at the end
which
of the
is
day,
cool.
she did it in 4. And now she's declaring for the WNBA draft. Kudos to her. And it's pretty impressive that, and you know, when you go outside of LSU, I think there's a statue of Pete Maravich. They need to put a statue of Caitlyn Clark, goddammit, outside of Iowa.
I don't know. How long did Pete Maravich take to get his statue? Right? It wasn't the next day.
I didn't say the next day. I'm just saying eventually.
Well, you said there needs to be a statue.
There should be a statue.
Eventually.
There should be a statue. I mean, she kind of set the bar now for how
What if somebody beats her in a year?
You're right.
Or 2 years?
You're right. I think that, yeah, you're right. You're right. You never know. You should wait
Just wait.
We'll wait like how long? Like a decade? 2? I don't know. Yeah.
I think we're the creature. I think we're a creature of the moment right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying she's not great. I'm not saying she's not amazing. I'm saying there could be somebody that comes along that beats her quick. Mm-hmm. And if that happens, then good for them. But again, no shade to Caitlyn. Mm-hmm. She still hadn't won a championship, though.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
that's true.
Kudos to Caitlyn. She's definitely going to the WNBA. Let's talk about the Spurs.
2-game winning streak.
Woo!
Spurs got back in after the rodeo road trip and proceeded to have a wonderful team game against Oklahoma City Thunder and Chet Holmgren.
And you were there, right?
I was at the game. I was invited by Desi from Desi Martinez Promotions. We ate, we drank, talked a little bit of business, took my friend Joanne. We had a really nice time. Mm-hmm. Great seats, great time, mm-hmm. great hospitality. But the Spurs won. Mm-hmm. That was just amazing.
Yeah, that's the best part when Spurs win, because they haven't had the best record this season.
Right.
Now they beat the Thunder and Chet Holmgren, which is a huge deal. And then they beat the Pacers. And the Pacers, well, I was there in Indianapolis. They had they had a 2-game they had a 2-game back-to-back with the New Orleans Pelicans, and they won one and they lost one.
Who was this?
The Pacers. So then they face the Spurs after they face the Pelicans, and the Spurs beat them. But one thing that's interesting about these 2 wins is that Victor Wembanyama broke a record. He's the first rookie in league history to record consecutive games with 25-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, 5 or more assists, and 5-plus blocks. So, Caitlyn, let me ask you, do you think it's because Victor Wembanyama broke this record that nobody else has ever done, by the way? Is that the reason why the Spurs have had the 2-game winning streak? Because he's breaking these records right now.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with him breaking the records. I think it has to do with his teammates coming to play. Mm-hmm. I think it has to do with them being on the road for a long time mm-hmm. and coming back to San Antonio and just really enjoying being home. Mm-hmm. They handed him the microphone after the win, and he said, "I love this shit." You know, so mm-hmm. this is not Tim Duncan. This is not David Robinson. Mm-hmm. This kid is different. Mm-hmm. He is very, very different. He can stroke the 3. Mm-hmm. And truth be told, I haven't paid a lot of attention to the Spurs over the past few years. Mm-hmm. I just don't like watching losing teams.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't.
I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I wear my Spurs hat all the time. Mm-hmm. I love the Spurs. But I'm just not going to spend money when they're going to lose. Mm-hmm. However, went to this game and they won, and I was just like, man.
You're the good
but
luck.
I saw Victor. I saw Devin Vassell. These guys, they have an opportunity. The fans have to step back and give them opportunity. But Wemby is just a different creature, man. Mm-hmm. And Chet came down, and when he blocked Chet Holmgren, mm-hmm. the Spurs could have won a championship. As crazy as the crowd was.
You know what? I was going to say, you might have brought the good luck to the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, so
Chris
what
has
I
a good
told
point.
Desi
is
like, we should keep on coming to the game until they lose.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to bring us back to his suite.
You should. I was going to say, Chris had a good comment up. Can you put that back up? I want to read that. It said something about, hold on, let me see it.
Where's
when you
my
get a
little
chance.
comment thing?
Where's my comment thing?
He can't find it.
So on a serious note, do we really see? No, is that the one?
No, it was he said something about Caitlyn or something like that. I don't know. Oh no,
they were winning.
No, he said no, they're winning because they're
sleeping in their own
They're
beds.
sleeping in their own bed. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what you just said. And
yeah, they're happy to be home.
And did you have a fun time overall?
Oh, an amazing time.
Nice.
I mean, suite level seats, great parking. When I say great parking, I mean great parking.
Nice.
We were 20 feet from the entrance.
Damn.
I'm sorry, 20 spaces from the entry.
Damn.
Yeah, the parking was amazing. Yeah, this is a beer in the refrigerator, pizza, hamburgers, dessert tray, carrot cake that was off the chain.
Oh, I love carrot cake. I forgot about carrot cake. I forgot about carrot cake.
It was a really, really good time.
Walt
but
says,
overall,
are we still trying to fire pop? No, we ain't trying to fire pop. Everybody over that.
I don't know if we're over firing pop, man.
I never wanted to fire pop. I just said he would have been fired by now had he have been any other coach.
I'm not trying to fire him. I'm not trying, we got to trust the process.
Oh, God.
We just have to trust the process. Now, next year, if they suck again, we got to start talking. There's no reason why they should suck next year.
Well, there was a regression, and Pop said in October that since Wemby was coming in, we could expect more wins. But then they decided to put Jeremy Sohan at the point guard position, and everybody says that shift caused the San Antonio Spurs to just do a downhill spiral because that shouldn't be what Jeremy should be doing. Blah, blah, blah. Moving fast forward, now we're at this point where the Spurs don't have a better record than they did last year. Right? So I can see why people are frustrated because you should see a progression and not a regression. But so if this is an experimental year, perhaps then, okay, I could see why people, would want to continue to trust the process. But you're right. Next year, after this experimental phase, is what it seems like the Spurs are going through. They're experimenting with players in different positions, experimenting with players in different rotations. If it doesn't go better next year, then we really have to put the flashlight on the upper management at that point. But we really can't say anything until we get to that point.
I don't think we realize that Wemby is a teenager. Mm-hmm. And I think Pop is playing it very, very cool. Mm-hmm. He has emotions that he shows on the court, unlike Tim Duncan, unlike David Robinson, more along the lines of Manu, right? I think he's a high energy, and I think Pop, along with teaching him how to play a different style of basketball, is also teaching him how to deal with his emotions. Mm-hmm. Because I would argue that he probably could score 40 points a game in the NBA and take over every game. Alley-oop lobs. He can shoot the three. He can stroke it. But I really think that Pop is playing a mental game and teaching him how to be mentally tough and not live his emotions. Because if I know anything, if I remember anything, I remember what it was like to be 19, 20, 21 years old, and I was in my emotions a lot, and I was all over the place. I could focus, but I was passionate. And I think that's where he is. I think he's really trying to regulate his emotions and teach him that is one game at a time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a process that Pop does, and some people are frustrated with it. Some people are not. At the end of the day, Wemby is having a spectacular year, and I have zero doubt in my mind he should be Rookie of the Year, which is why I put a poll
There's no
up.
should be. If he's not Rookie of the Year,
something's up.
It's the biggest travesty in the world. Chet Holmgren is good,
but he lost.
So you don't remember Clyde the Glide Drexler. You had Jordan and you had Drexler. Drexler was very, very good. Jordan was great. Wemby is great. Holmgren is good. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference.
Wemby is great. And that's another thing that I was going to bring up to you. The Spurs just announced today that Victor Wembanyama was named Rookie of the Month for the second month in a row.
Yep.
Second month in a row. This is second straight month. And the first time since Tim Duncan received the award in March and April of 1998 that a Spurs player has captured Rookie of the Month honors in back-to-back months, which is incredible. Every time I see a Victor Wembanyama stat, he's being compared to Tim Duncan. He's having a record that's compared to David Robinson. He has a record that's compared to Michael Jordan.
I think some of these stats are silly, though.
Yeah, but don't you think it's kind of like, wow, this is actually pretty impressive that he's actually kind of like comparable to these great players.
Greats. No, it's not. He's not kind of. He is comparable to. But it's funny because like there's never been a stat line where he's done this, this, and this, and 3 steals, right? Like, I don't think Wembanyama's thinking like, oh, I need 3 steals to make this stat line that nobody's ever seen before, right?
Oh, I don't think he's doing that at all.
But you know me in stats. I'm just like, whatever.
You don't like, yeah, I know you don't like stats, but also too, like, the stats, I know you don't want to talk about stats, but
no, I'll talk about stats.
The stats that he is compared to, it's not like he's like being compared to like any scrubs. He's being compared to the greats. And I find that really interesting. It seems like every other day there's a record that Wemby's doing. And it's like he's breaking like an all-time great stat, or he's
he's not even. He is doing something that we've never seen before. Mm-hmm. It's just funny because it's the difference between 3 blocks and 5 blocks, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why it's funny to me. It's like, oh, now he has this all-time great stat, and it's because of a block, right? Mm-hmm. Or because we've seen a lot of players do 30 and 10, but we haven't seen the 30, 10, 5 blocks, 3 steals, and no turnovers. Right? It's not that they're making up stats. It just is kind of funny.
There's always a stat.
There's always some sort of stat, right?
Now, let me tell you this, too. Like, people spend a lot of time talking about Victor Wembanyama, that sometimes the rest of the team gets lost in the sauce. And there's other milestones that these other players are breaking for themselves. Like Dominic Barlow just signed a 2-way contract with the San Antonio Spurs. And that's a big deal for him because he was undrafted. So for him to go to be undrafted, then he gets signed to the Spurs, and now he's signed to a contract, 2-way contract. That's incredible for him. So this whole pounding the rock method that the Spurs are doing, it doesn't only apply to Wemby. It also applies to Dominic Barlow, who just went from undrafted to now he's signed a contract with the Spurs. Then you have somebody like Devin Vassell, who spent a lot of time in the offseason working on his game and his graft. And you could, like, when you look at, because it's not just Wemby that wins the game. It's all these players. Like Devin Vassell, when he has great games, the Spurs do good too. When Keldon Johnson steps up to the plate, Spurs do a good job. Jeremy Sohan, Malachi Branham, when they step up to the plate and do what they're supposed to be doing, Spurs get these type of wins, and they all gel very well together. So you also have to give not you, but people also have to remember that there's other players on the team that I think should have the spotlight, because a lot of people spend a lot of time talking about Wemby, and of course, understandably so, because he's generational talent, but also make sure that we're talking about the other players as well, because they seem to be getting lost in these storylines with Victor Wembanyama as well.
Yeah, I think that sometimes the fans are maybe a little too tough on the other players and not giving them the grace that they deserve. Sohan being one of them, he's a wild card. And I could see Sohan like being the engine that comes off the bench in a few years and being that guy. Vassell is amazing, and he is Robin to Wembanyama's Batman. However, Wemby is the engine, and he likes the spotlight. He likes being a star, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about the rest of the team getting lost because he is the star. You know, Spurs go the way Wemby goes. And if you look at like a LeBron James, nobody talks about Anthony not talking about Anthony Davis or one of the other players. What's the Japanese
Rob Parker
player
from Fox Sports said 2 times last week Pop needs to resign. I saw the backlash for that too.
Yeah, well, how old is Rob?
Well,
Anyway.
Mike Jimenez watching the show. He says the same damn thing all the damn time. I mean, some
It's
people are
funny
gonna
when
feel
people
that way.
say, especially with people that have been following Pop for 20, 30 years, says that he needs to resign, but they're not going to resign. They think they're at the top of their game still. Yeah, whatever.
It is what it is. But speaking of generational talents, back to Caleb Williams before I wrap up the show. Everybody's saying, what are the Bears going to do with the number 1 pick? Are they going to keep Caleb Williams and stay at number 1, or are they going to trade away that number 1 pick for some draft stock and move down and get Marvin Harrison Jr.? Basically, from a lot of insiders at the NFL Combine who cover the team heavily were saying that Caleb Williams to the Bears is pretty much a done deal. I'm the only one who probably disagrees with that. I truly believe.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah, because he's a generational talent. I'm the only one who's holding on to hope that the Chicago Bears build off of Justin Fields and they keep DJ Moore, and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. as a wide receiver, because I feel like Ryan Poles, the general manager, is all about chemistry. And if you're all about chemistry and that's what you say you're all about, then why not keep Marvin Harrison Jr. with DJ Moore? They went to high school together. They played track together. They get along really well. DJ Moore has come out and he said, I want Marvin Harrison Jr. on the team. Justin Fields played for Ohio State. They didn't play on the same team, but they probably are familiar with the same type of offenses ran with Ohio State. So I'm the only one who's probably hoping that the Bears draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and they can build on that chemistry, because when you have a successful team, you have to build it. And this whole regurgitating quarterbacks thing is very frustrating. Yes, it's a generational talent, but and that's what everybody was trying to convince me. It's a generational talent this time around. Well, I don't care. I don't care if it's a generational talent. You could put Jesus Christ himself as quarterback, and if the offensive line sucks and you don't put the pieces around him, then he's not going to be successful, because he's going to be getting sacked, or he's not going to be able to throw it to somebody who can catch the ball, or there's not going to be anybody who's going to be able to block the defense from getting to him. So I really would like to keep Marvin Harrison Jr. as the Bears pick, but from what the insiders, quote unquote, say, they're probably more than likely going to draft Caleb Williams. But if you read between the lines, people are saying it sounds like Caleb Williams does not want to be a Chicago Bear. I don't know, but who knows?
Yeah.
So this whole generational talent thing, that's another thing too. That's why you're bringing up Wemby, and I was talking about Caleb Williams, because like I said, like Wemby is the generational talent and all the other players get lost in the sauce. What if that happens to the Chicago Bears if they draft Caleb Williams? What if the other players get lost in the Caleb Williams sauce and there's no coverage for the things that they do?
If you all win a championship, nobody gives a damn.
You're right. You're absolutely fucking You're absolutely
like,
right. But what if they have a bad season like the way Wemby's team is?
They might.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Caleb is a amazing quarterback. But I think Justin Fields is an amazing quarterback, and we've seen flashes of greatness. So he needs a coach around him that can coach him all the time for that greatness.
Absolutely. So it's just one of those things where I would like to see people build on chemistry, but I mean, I'm not a GM, so I'm just a person that likes to talk sports. So what do I know?
Yeah.
Right?
Who knows?
But anyways, I'm glad I'm back in San Antonio. I'm ready to eat tacos again. I'm ready to get my life back together and get back to normal.
Okay. You ready to go home?
I'm hungry. I actually want some Mexican food. What do you want, Caitlyn? What have you been? What are your plans?
I need to eat. I'm kind of hungry too.
What are your plans, Caitlyn? This week?
Right now, I'm focusing on this boxing thing, staying sane with that. Got a meeting tomorrow with the church for some video work we've done. Then I have a meeting with the museum after that for some video work I might be doing. Yeah, there's a lot of going on.
Yeah. Amzai said, let's get me to 500. Yay. I think I'm like 30 people away from 500. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, subscribe. And then I can get monetized. So you're right. I totally forgot. Amzai, I'm close. But that sounds like a productive week. I think a lot of people misconstrue what you do. Well, I think
nobody knows what I do.
Nobody really knows what you do, but you do a lot. And
yep.
And the
pretty
podcast,
damn good at most of it.
Like the podcast essentially is secondary. Like doing this podcast is essentially secondary to the other stuff you're doing.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. So people are wondering, where's, Caitlyn been? Caitlyn is behind the scenes making money, which is the best part of it. And that's why I feel really blessed that you're my producer. And I'm glad you're back, by the way. And I'm glad to see you again because I have a producer who is doing so much crap and doing a spectacular job on it and working behind the scenes what seems like 24/7. You're always so busy now every time I talk to you that I feel really special that you still come here every Monday and you do the podcast. It means a lot to me.
Oh, thank you. Just remember when you get big not to leave me in the doldrums of podcast world by myself.
No, why would I do that?
Because you go anyway.
Well, if I move to let's say I move to Vegas and get a full-time job over there.
I still can remote. So then we got to talk to Q about why it makes more sense to let me remote produce your show in San Antonio. So just real quick.
So I stay in San Antonio or I would have to go to Vegas?
Ooh, no, you could stay in San Antonio. But I'd rather you go to Vegas, to be honest.
Yeah, I need to get the fuck out of here. I love San Antonio.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
And I was saying, I want to say that not because I hate San Antonio. I love San Antonio, but I feel like I want to show my diversity.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Or I could stay here and build on the podcast. I'm almost at 500 subscribers. Everybody else can go to hell if I get to 500.
You already know.
I'm 20 away from according to Amzai.
You already know what you know my thoughts.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm ready to wrap this up. Let's do it. Because, we have these segments. We could just break up and just put it out there.
Yeah.
You been into any crime shows? One last thing. You been into any shows? Anything?
Shows. You know what? I zone out on Law and Order.
Dun dun. That one?
That's it. I Special Victims Unit.
Nice.
I zoned out on Law and Order. TV is one of them things, man. Okay, so listen. So Anthony Beck, you just said get her to 1,000 followers, not just 500. However, homie, you are on Facebook. We need you on YouTube. He can
watch it wherever he'd like. As long as he's subscribed, that's all that matters.
If he subscribed. But no, because even if you get 1,000 subscribers, you still need 3,000 first level and then 4,000 second level to get monetized.
Oh, it's so hard to keep up with this shit.
You don't get monetized by just 1,000. You have to have 3,000 watch hours and first level 4,000 for second one.
Somebody brought up Russell Wilson. I don't know who it was because the comment was up and it just disappeared before I could get the name. But whoever brought that up, kudos to you because I totally forgot the Broncos cut Russell Wilson and they're taking an $85 million dead money hit. But everybody knew that was going to happen. The writing was on the wall a couple months ago.
Can the Broncos trade up for the number one pick?
You know what? People were talking Broncos. Then he's really going to be in purgatory because from what I hear, the Broncos organization is a cluster hell of an organization. I mean, I know the Bears are bad. Oh, the Broncos met with Caleb Williams at the Combine. Yep, they did. Yep. So who knows? They might be able to trade for Russell Wilson. I mean, not Russell.
We shall see.
Yeah. Trade. I'm sorry. Get Caleb Williams. Sorry. Trade for Russell Wilson. But they
Damn, it's going to be 91 degrees tomorrow.
Oh, my God. Oh, and then, of course, Amzai's going to sponsor a giveaway. Yay. Thank you, Amzai. Amzai got your camera. I'm not going to say where it's at.
It's in an HEB bag.
It's in an HEB bag, though. So you'll see an HEB bag. I'm not going to say where it's at, but you probably already know. But there's an HEB bag. When you see the HEB bag, that's your camera. I was going to say, I always want to plug the other shows on the VodPod Media Network. Amzai is one of them. Great show. It's called The Sam Pluto Show. way more popular than my show, and he does an incredible job. So go subscribe to Amzai show, the Sam Pluto show, and I will see y'all next week. I'm kind of tired and jet lagged from all the crap going on out there. I went to Giordano's, great pizza spot, but I'm ready to get back to my real life and just be with my family.
Fun.
And get my friend back. I want Caitlyn to call me more often.
She's gonna miss me for about another week, and then I'm gonna be on her damn nerves.
I miss Caitlyn. He did not call me at all while I was at the combine, which was like
First of all, I
insane.
texted you. I did text you to make sure everything was okay. I knew you were gonna be busy. I knew you were gonna be hobnobbing and rubbing elbows with people. So our goal for next year, if for some reason you're still here, is Super Bowl.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
100.
Definitely. Yep.
100. Because I think we could do one hell of a show, interactive show for Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
That hasn't been seen.
All right, boo. I'm letting you.
All right.
I'm letting everybody go. Bye, guys. Love y'all. 20 subscribers away from 500. Subscribe, guys. Bye.